Rich rising. Blessings, blessings, blessings. Blessings, blessings, blessings. More blessings. Live. Live. Message that we got over here. This is Mother you mark something, something or another. So the message we got is, and it has begun. Mm-hmm. Yes, yes. And it has begun. Wealth transfer. Period. Done. All right, y'all. Hi. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for being here. Come on in. Come on in. Come on in. Come on in. Come on and do the locomotion with me. Come on, baby. Do the locomotion. Everybody, hi. Welcome. I'm going to pull up our title real quick. And then we're going to jump right into this joint. And it says, and it has begun. And it has begun. Come on. And it has begun. EGUN ... Wealth transfer. WEALTHTRANS. Wealth transfer. Alright, so welcome everybody. Done. Alright, I need to turn you this way though. Alright, let me go over here to where your title actually is. Hello. Come on in. It says, and it has begun. Wealth transfer activated. Wealth transfer activated. 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 Done. Alright, go live. Go live. Alright. Message is, hi guys, welcome to my channel. This is going to be a message for the collective. My messages are timeless. So when you see them, it's when you're meant to hear them. Please don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe. Also, please don't forget to hit the post notification bell so you can get alerts when my videos are posted. If you're new to my platform, welcome. Please hit that subscription button. It will totally mean the world to me. We are going to start off with Surah Al-Fatiha. Please and thank you. And it starts off, in the name of Allah, the most compassionate, most merciful. All praise is for Allah, Lord of all worlds, the most compassionate, most merciful, Master of the day of judgment. You alone we worship, and you alone we ask for help. Guide us along the straight path, the path of those you have blessed, not those you are displeased with or those who are astray. Next thing we're going to do is Psalms 91. Psalms 91. Welcome, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So, this is Psalms 91. Whoever dwells in the shelter of the Most High will rest in the shadow of the Almighty. I will say of the Lord, He is my refuge and fortress, and my God in whom I trust. Surely He will save you from the fowler's snare and from the deadly pestilence. He will cover you with His feathers, and under His wings you will find refuge. His faithfulness will be your shield and rapport. You will not fear the terror of night, nor the arrow that flies by day, nor the pestilence that stalks in the darkness, nor the plague that destroys at midday. 1,000 may fall at your side, 10,000 at your right hand, but it will not come near you. You will only observe with your eyes and see the punishment of the wicked. If you say, "The Lord is my refuge," and you make the Most High your God, make the Most High your dwelling, no harm will overtake you, no disaster will come near your tent. For he will command his angels concerning you to guard you in all your ways. They will lift you up in their hands so that they will not strike your foot against a stone. You will tread on the lion and the cobra. You will trample the great lion and the serpent. Because he loves me, says the Lord, I will rescue him. I will protect him, for he acknowledges my name. He will call on me, and I will answer him. I will be with him in troubles. I will deliver him and honor him. With long life I will satisfy him and show him my salvation. Sanja, hi, welcome. Thank you for being here. Sanja, how's your day starting off? Okay. Um, how's your day starting off, Sanja? We're gonna move around a little bit. Hi, welcome everybody. Thank you for being here. Um, how's your day starting off? How are you feeling? Did you do your prayers? Because that's important to the message. All right, it is covenant, which is contract between you and God, you and Source, you and Creator. So I've been listening to a lot of biblical stories lately, right? Okay, I was going to say because something was supposed to pop up on my screen. Um, I've been listening to a lot of Bible stories and things of that nature, or a lot of beginning stories, origin stories, right, of us. And one thing I noticed is that whoever is narrating, it starts to sway into whatever their thought process is. And one thing that I don't like about that is if you are saying that you are scripting something for God or you're writing something for God, then it should be exactly that. You have to take you out of it and it just be, God. Um, and so, Laura, again, I guess when you're a human being or you're writing from a human being standpoint, can you give me some tissue real quick? And an algae pill. Make sure if you're gonna take one. So far, so good. Thank you for asking. I hope your day is going wonderful. It is. I just been actually chilling, taking a moment and to relax. Cause normally I would be up doing 1,000,006 things, right? And so lately I just been marinating, taking the time to rest, taking the time to meditate on things when I'm hearing them, and try to understand why certain things are actually playing itself out right now. Because even though we can make rational thoughts about certain things. Sometimes it's just divine timing and God's order. And we may not understand why something happens. Like, for instance, when the first thing I saw, after I was just laying there, it was talking about why, where you get them from? Oh. Why the government will want medical records, right? And for all intents purposes, I guess, because I don't really know what's happening. But one thing I have found out and figured out is that no matter whatever it is, God is already in the midst of it. God already seeing it. God already know what they're doing, right? For some reason, but we already know the reason. When people do stuff and they do it out of corruption, out of spite, out of hate, um, normally it ends up undoing them. And even if they get away with whatever they wanted to get away with from the beginning, um, or they think they have gotten away with it, whatever's done in the dark will eventually come to the light. You on a computer typing, and a Nord is 7 feet long. Okay. In case you don't know, if you're new here, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put you on timeout because I don't like talking to y'all types. I don't have to talk to you. So I'm gonna just put you on timeout, and hopefully God will deal with you, because I don't care what you're talking about, and I'm not gonna want to care. Anyway, so when people do stuff out of spite, out of hate, and all of that, later on it will come back to bite them in the rear, right? And so all the things that they have done throughout history, trying to erase um, people's lineage, trying to put people in other people's spaces or spots, or just all out being hateful, it's going to end up being their demise. And so we can go with that. Um, I come before you today in covenant with your word, just as you blessed Adam and Eve and promised Abraham and the descendants would be a blessing. I claim your promises over my life and the collective, my bloodline and theirs, and my generation and theirs. Lord, awaken the knowledge of my heritage. Awaken the knowledge of the collective within us. Reveal the truths that have been hidden, restore what has been lost, and bring clarity into the lineages. Let the blessings of our ancestors rise in this generation, and may we walk in favor, the favor that you intended for us. God, we ask that the wisdom, understanding, and discernment that you had bestowed upon us be granted right here, right now. Open our eyes to see opportunities and the resources that you're bringing forth. Activate the wealth, spiritual, intellectual, and material transfers that you have prepared for us, just as you elevated Joseph in Egypt. Genesis 4 and 1. Protect our families, our children, and our generations to come. Let our covenant with you be and remain unbroken. Let no man, no circumstances, and no hidden forces erase the purpose you have placed on our collective and our bloodline. Let our lives reflect your glory, your authority, and your favor. Lord, strengthen us to rise into fullness of our destiny. Help us walk in alignment with your word, to act in faith, and to live as blessings to others. May our lifestyle testify to your covenant, your promises, and your faithfulness. And so I declare in your name that the awakening of the bloodlines has begun. Wealth, favor, and wisdom are activated in our life. We rise, we claim, we inherited. God said in the book of Jubilees, one of the things that I kept noticing is that God was making it so that we would know that it would be forever. It said now and for forever. That the covenants were to be held on from that point into forever. That is like the epitome of you being a parent or your parent talking to you and your parent saying to you, and I'm just using this as now, a metaphor is now, because you know what your parent told you or what you tell your children. Don't open the door for nobody because it's for your safety. So even if you run out for 5 seconds, or you give your kids certain instructions, or your parent gave you certain instructions, and they said, don't do this. Nobody was to be able to come behind that and override it. But somehow, some people came behind that and they tried to override. And I'm saying collective because this is a group effort, right? Of those who are, and I don't care what religion, what race, what creed, what origin, the collective being those that know that God existed before anybody decided to come along and say or do anything, before anybody tried to come and corrupt the system. When God said, you will be blessed from now to forever, forever, as long as you're in covenant, as long as you keep the ways. It didn't matter who wrote a book. It didn't matter who wrote a testament. It didn't matter who was a prophet. It didn't matter who was a son. The covenant was the covenant. The contract was the contract. And spiritually, it's been a thing where one of the texts that I was listening to, or one of the things I was listening to, I could tell that whoever was narrating, I can tell where they came from, right, or what angle they were coming from. Either way, long story short, what everybody has to realize and pay attention to is that when God said something, after that, when any text was written or any book was given or any prophet showed up, all of a sudden they started narrating from their perspective and they inserted their feelings or their concerns into the simulation. Because initially it was keeping these days, these jubilees, keeping the time sacred because the time is sacred. It's divine timing, it's God's timing. And then man decided that they should alter it in a way to benefit their narrative. And for all intents purposes, we continue to allow the things to happen. Why? Because us as a collective, we never say anything. We just go along with the flow, as if we forgot the covenant, as if we forgot the blessings, as if we forgot what God said to us. Don't open the door. If you open the door to the evil, if you open the door to the corruption, if you open the door to the sunken place, what you expect? It's like the thing where they always tell you, they always give you the brief synopsis of something instead of going into it. They be like, if you let the devil ride, he gonna want to drive. That mean don't let the devil in, or the fallen angel, or the jinn, or the corrupt ass man, or the corrupt ass woman. So take it how it resonates. I know y'all hate when I cuss, but do with the information what you will. Take what you need and leave the rest. So I walk in covenant with God. My life, my lineage, and my purpose are divinely protected. Nobody can take that away when you know what it is. When you know what's been given. It don't matter about the people. It don't matter about the places. It don't matter about the circumstances. It is between you and God. And when God say, you will be blessed from now going forward, as long as you remain and stay in the covenant. Good morning, Abby. She said last night I was about to mention the man that sits over there. Oh, what about it? As long as you remain in covenant, then you will be blessed forever. Not if from the New Testament to the Old Testament or from the Old Testament to the New Testament, because God said what God said. So there's this thing where apparently a lot of people are starting to question where they came from, right? And so people are doing DNA and they starting to find out that either their parents aren't their parents or their parents' parents aren't their parents' parent. And throughout history, there has been stuff that has happened. And we'll go into the actual dialogue of it because at once upon a time, there was children that just started showing up out of nowhere. And this is throughout history. You can actually go look it up. It's actually in here. And when I go through it, because we're doing affirmations right now. And these children just were adopted and just put in placement with people. Nobody ever said anything about where the kids came from. There's also been throughout history where people that were already here, they started taking their identities and trying to get rid of them, do away with them. And this is where people try to determine, or people try to say that they get to now sit over people and tell you who you are. Meanwhile, God was making it so you would never forget. That's why the covenant was between you and God from the beginning. It was already written. Your DNA, your genealogy, it was already written. It was already foretold. And I want to preface this by saying, when I said they never tell you the added addition. They just say don't let the devil in. They don't tell you that if you let the devil in, it's going to corrupt your whole entire life, because first the devil just starts to whisper to you in ways, or the corrupt person. So you can use it as, I'm saying devil, use it as your best friend that don't, really want no good for you. Use it as that man or that woman that don't like you and don't wish no good for you. Use it as that job that you took that you really, really hate, that God told you, keeps telling you to quit or you shouldn't be there. You use it as that. And instantly, all of a sudden, stuff just starts to happen over and over and over again. Because God been telling you, God been whispering in your ear saying, you shouldn't be here. You shouldn't be amongst these people. You shouldn't be connected to this situation. So when you insert yourself, because you'll say, and this is also a part of the land, because we are here, we have to have certain types of either employment or certain types of monetary ways to be able to pay for the house, or the car, or your lifestyle, right? So instantly, instead of you saying or thinking that I shouldn't be working, or I shouldn't be doing this particular job, or this is taking me out of covenant because it's making me do way too much, you'll instead say, I gotta do it because I gotta do what's necessary to be able to support my lifestyle, or to be able to handle the things that I need to handle. And then we start to forget that God is the provider. God will give you or grant you anything that is necessary and needed, but we have to figure out how far we have gotten away from the covenant, or what parts we're actually breaking or violating. But how are we going to know that if everything in society has been mixed up, changed, and distorted? How would we know? And also, if they only give you a portion of the information, how would you know? The promises of God are mine by covenant. I inherit spiritual, material, and generational blessings. The promises of God are mine by covenant. I inherit spiritual, material, and generational blessings. My bloodline carries the covenant of God. No one can erase my inheritance or destiny. What's meant for you will always be for you. That's the reason why God told you you will always be blessed from this point. You just have to remember. And this is like when your DNA gets activated by just a random sound, or just by a random message, or just by you vibing outside in the sun, or grounding. And all of a sudden, it's like knowledge just being uploaded into your system. And it's more like a remembrance rather than like where did that come from? But it's like you start to live and vibrate into that feeling. My bloodline carries the covenant of God. No one can erase my inheritance or destiny. Where you are is where you're meant to be. Whatever test that you have gone through or going through, is your test, is your testimony. But then it also led me to testament, your covenant. It was the New Testament, and then it was the Old Testament. It was the Old Testament, then it was the New Testament. Somebody came along to corrupt the Old Testament, because in order for you to know where you're going, you got to know where you came from. And if you don't know that you were going to be blessed from, here from the word start and the word go, then why would you know? How would you know? It's like I sit in, I'm always telling somebody, I have had a very blessed life. Everything that I ever wanted, I got. The house, the car, the man, the anything that, I may have been conditioned to think that was the right way. I've been able to talk to God for a very long time. And I don't mean like when people are thinking, oh, blessings, you blessed it. No, I've been in like very cushy surroundings, whole life paid for. And, nice house, nice cars, multiples. So I'm not just speaking from, oh, I'm trying to get it. No, definitely got everything that I asked for. And then God started to talk to me about people. Mind you, so much I had everything that and more. I'm gonna say and more because I had people around me calling me the girl that has everything. When anybody wanted something, they would call me and ask me. And I mean down to tools because I like tools. And I love tools. Why? Because when you have the right tool for something, it makes everything easy. And then something started to play on me because I was wondering why the man that I was with at the time, it was his friends that was saying that. And I kept telling this person, like, they seem very jealous of you because, for all intents purposes, this person, we had a lot together, right? And when I started to notice, like, why are they saying that? Because although I'm saying they're jealous of the person, I wasn't picking up on the two and two that the person was definitely talking about me behind my back. And so they called me the ATM. Mind you, me and this person worked together. And it was confusing to me, like when I would hear certain things or when he would say what they said about me, I always wondered like what gave them the comfortability to be able to talk about me in any form. Even though it sounded like it was a good thing, but if you start to think about it, it sounded like some hating energy. And so it started making me wonder, like, what conversations are these people having? What conversations is he having with them behind the scenes? And then it started to dawn on me because God started working on me. Because what I also started to realize was this person would have their own, because again, we work together. So this person would be given everything that they're supposed to have. But then I noticed that the person started to want to take from me. Sometimes we have to realize like some people are just around us because of whatever blessing God will have on you. And also, and the connection could be blessed all on its own, but some people start to get greedy, and that's the number one thing when that's the number one thing here in this realm, in this lifetime. Mind you, because I can turn nothing into something. And how many of y'all can turn nothing into something? Because if you can, you're the people. People will try to get close to you for that main reason. There's a blessing on you that shows, or how many of y'all can do more with less? It's people that will have more than you and be jealous of you. Because for all intents purposes, in my eyes, this person had more than me. And I used to call this person a rainmaker because they could make money fall out of the sky. And then you start to realize that this person is jealous of the blessing that you have on you. Well, why would you be jealous of my blessing and you have your own? Just so y'all know, just because you can, don't mean you should. And so I'm gonna start with this. Um, and I mean, just because you can, don't mean you should. Just because you can get over on a person, don't mean you should. Just because you can do a thing, don't mean you should. So everybody is being dealt with because we talking about wealth transfer right here, right now. And y'all are noticing that there are very huge companies. Lava, welcome. Thank you for being here. Girl, listen. Like I said, when I be talking to y'all, I don't be talking because I'm guessing. Like I live this life. Like, my house may not be much to anybody, but I have a 3-car garage. May not be nothing to nobody, but it was everything to me. Why? Because I never even thought of having a 1-car garage. I never even thought I could have a garage. And then, God started saying, think more of yourself, because you said and you know you will be blessed. And I said that I've been blessed. Mind you, because I had houses with garages, but they weren't mine. I had a house with, I think it had maybe a 1 or 2 car garage. Wasn't my house. And then God blessed me with my own house. Mind you, people were jealous of that. And I'm thinking, like, the minute I got the house, I wrote on the picture, the very first picture that went up of the house says God's house, because it's not mine. God just allowed me to be, able to be steward over it. And so sometimes we have to realize that in order to be steward over a lot, we have to first be steward over a little. And so she said, I say that all the time. Just because you can don't mean you should. So I'm gonna go into this. There's companies right now, huge companies that's been around for forever. And they're all sad because they're starting to lose money. This is the thing. Why are you losing money though? Because you thought that you should jack up, prices of your supplies, your food, and everything else. Mind you, you also started to add contaminants to the food while charging us more. Just because you should, just because you can don't mean you should. Why would you turn into why would you turn to corrupt dealings with the very people that help support your well-being? It's arrogant. It's arrogant for companies to be out here thinking that you can contaminate the very people that we come and we pay our hard-earned money that we go to work for and everything else. And you're going to give us trash. You're going to give us chemicals. And you're arrogant to the tune of you get online and now you're saying, oh, we're losing money because people aren't buying. We don't want to buy your trash. People are being more health conscious. So just because you can don't mean that you should, right? Think about the countries, because everybody likes to point and laugh, at America, because we like the laughing stock of everything, as we should be, right? Why? Because we were stupid enough to believe that this system worked. But mind you, we were stupid enough to believe that this system worked, all the while knowing God told us not to make no treaties with these people. In the text that these people removed, God told us not to make treaties with them. And then we're surprised that they didn't honor their treaties. God told us not to have dealings with them. God told us not to marry them. God told us not to solicit. But somehow they even got in control enough to be able to manipulate the text, control the people. Now, for all intents and purposes, everybody done seen an old school movie, or two. And the first thing that the aliens or the demons or the fallen angels, whatever you wish to call them, the first thing they do is they tell you they incorporate themselves into society and then into government and then into business. Why? Because those are the things that, that's how they control the masses. That's how they control the people. So clearly the people that are in control, they not like us at all, period. They got to be either the entities, the demons, or the, whatever you want to call them. But they definitely are not the people, because just because they can don't mean they should. This is their journey. Hi, Pamela. Welcome. Thank you for being here. Just like you having your journey, they're also dealing with their journey, right? And then the opportunity comes along to, corrupt the system. And this is where everybody has a split mind. So whenever you can put yourself in anybody's shoes, right? Pick a person, somebody in government that you love, and or that you could potentially like. And so a lot of people go into it with, or should have been going into it with like the best intentions. Like, I'm going to change the world. I want to be a good person. I want to help create laws and structures that will help the people. And then as soon as they get in there, they start to change. They start to let the system change them. They forgot everything that was their intentions, what they intended to do. And then they start taking, bribes and payoffs and this, that, and the third. And then they just like the people. Because for some reason, that's the cycle that happens. And this is why I also say that the system ain't good. The right side, the left side, none of the sides. It has to be taken down. And I pray God get them, the whole entire system. Bring it down to rubble. That's a tower moment. Because then that allows us to see where it wasn't good. This allows us to rebuild it if we want to, or restructure it in another type of way, because that system should never be rebuilt ever again. And if y'all allow it to be rebuilt ever again, once it is torn down, then it's like Kanye West said, you want to be slaves. Because we can clearly see that everybody that gets set in position, they allow the companies to come in, or the corporations, and they'll pay them to allow certain laws and things to get pushed. And then all of a sudden, here we are, subject to whatever this mess is. And this is how we got here. Meanwhile, we've been watching it the whole entire time. I remember when it was like a clean air initiative. Mind you, what happened to that? Some things just come and go. It'll just be like something in the wind. Oh, you heard this, and then it's gone. But it was never to help Mother Nature. It was never to help the people. So now you have corporations saying they're failing because people don't want to ingest poison. But these people have had their footing into it forever, into the system forever. But this is also where people who are good people, and they start to make things that the people are going to like. Society, good, clean things, right? I have a video that I just reposted. And this is also the reason why we have to be more pay more attention. A video that I just posted, and y'all can go look at it, it's on repost, is of a place, somebody has a homestead. And what they're doing at their homestead, apparently they're growing, veggies and this, that, and the third, and people may be buying vegetables and stuff, from them, because, people turn to the farmers and everything else, after everything that's happening right now. People are buying directly from, the people who are selling stuff, right? Homemade and healthy things, right? There's a plane flying over these people's property, spraying. Mind you, ain't do one pass by, they did two. Who authorized that? And why is it so important to keep the people down, or to try to keep the people unhealthy? Why is it that every time, hey Josh, love you, thank you for being here. Why is that every time somebody is doing something good in this simulation, why do they always attempt to kill it? Every time. It don't matter whether it be you, me, anybody else, because just so y'all know, I ain't off the table too. Let any of these channels get too much traction, and anybody hear anything that I'm saying, I'm gonna be every day. I tell y'all, I love my life. It's places that I want to go. Anybody that says anything pointing out what they're doing, they try to take them out of the simulation. Not because you're saying anything other than what they have done and what they're doing. Not because you're, not because of them not wanting to, not because of them and they shouldn't be doing it. They get mad at you for talking about the very thing that they're doing. They try to make people crazy. You speaking facts, cousin. Just passing by on the way to work. I love you and thank you for being here. That's my cousin, y'all. And I'm so proud of you. Just so you know, I'll be watching your videos too. I like watching his videos because he got camper stuff, so I'll be hype about that. But not because they're, mad at themselves for doing the very thing that they're doing. They get mad at the people for, enlightening the other people and saying that, you should now read ingredients. You should watch what you're putting in your system, They don't get mad at themselves for doing it. They get mad at you for being aware of it. So again, I'm a preference. Just because you can don't mean you should. So then there's a whole thing going on with a clothing company right now, right? Because this is wealth transfer. Big companies that then had their foot in society, in the system, abuse their privileges. God saw. People be so worried about what other people are looking at that they forget that God is watching. There's an angel assigned to you watching everything that you have ever done. You would know that if you were still in covenant. You never sat by yourself. It's always an energy surrounding you, watching every corrupt thing that you do. Do with that information what you will. Now, just imagine having that thought in your brain and, having masturbation. Do with that information what you will. But in reality, all right? So take it how it resonates. Anyway, so large company, it is now being shown, and I can, tell y'all this because it's a something on Netflix because it made me laugh. And I reposted some of this stuff just so y'all can see. I'm not making this up. I'm not making none of this up. This stuff actually exists. So there's this lady right here. I'll let her tell you.
What'd you do? I threw away all my shirts. Why? Because they all have 50% polyester. I'm gonna cry again. What happened? Maybe watch this show, not that show, a plastic show that shows that all the things that we touch, we wear, we put inside of us or on the outside of us because our body is our largest pores, causes infertility and different cancers. And this show just proved that 5 studies, all of them got pregnant after eliminating plastics. So you're going to get pregnant? I'm not getting pregnant. But it causes prostate and endometriosis and ovarian and all, not all, but studies show that the underwear you're wearing from Vicky C's, okay? And jockey, and all of your, everything that you wear. Like my bra is polyester. I'm going to have to find something to hold these motors up because now I don't have anything because I'm throwing away all my clothes. And these are linen, but I'm wearing underwear that's going to be cotton, but not yet because I still have polyester on. And my cotton underwear are coming. We need to go right now to go to Sprouts because I need a non-plastic toothbrush. My toothpaste is in plastic. My hairbrush is plastic. And I need a new loofah because mine's all gone. Honey, let's go. There's a new loofah. Get dressed. We're going to Sprouts, and I saw that Target has a pretty good organic cotton aisle as well. Let's go. I'm not joking. Okay. Get dressed with your undyed, untreated polyester clothes. Cotton. Wear your cotton clothes. Undyed. Can't be dyed. Has to be undyed. It can't be dyed. There's just chemicals. I cried over this Tylishia. I cried. That everyone in the United States, I feel like, is eating poison, and everyone's dying off. And I was my mom, like, what is she? See? Get dressed. We're going to Sprouts, damn it.
Mind you, that's on a milder version, just so y'all know, because there are big companies that certain things aren't allowed in their country, but they will ship it over here because it's allowed here. Just because you can don't mean you should. And so there's a lot of companies that, took advantage of the system. But the system that was supposed to protect us has actually failed us. And so, with that being said, the companies that are going out, this allows room for companies that are going to do the right thing, or individuals that are going to do the right thing to come in. Mind you, and y'all thinking, oh, I can just wash it. Nope. Every time your body heats up, every time, like you just heard what she said, your skin is the largest organ that we have. And you're absorbing things. Like now, I done got to the point where I won't even spray, because they tell you, spray perfume on your pulse points. I'm not spraying none of that shit on my skin, and I'm barely even using it. So it depends on what's in it. Like, at what cost? But this is also where, it's going back to old customs, old ways, things that you can actually rely on, because the new system allowed for this. The old system may have seemed like it was a little tight, but it was going to keep you safe. I am chosen, set apart, and aligned with God's will. Every step I take is guided by divine wisdom. You have to want it for yourself. You have to know it for yourself. They not here to protect you. Everything they have done has been to line their pockets. But mind you, you were blessed beforehand. This is the reason why you are going to be given the information. This is why you're going to be allowed to, be a couple steps ahead of the situation or the simulation. This is also why in the Psalms 91, when I read that and it says, no harm will come near you. 1,000 may fall at your side, 10,000 at your right hand, but it will not come near you. You will only observe with your eyes and see the punishment of the wicked. Do you believe that? Because it was already given. And it's up to you to know that you doing the right thing as a person. Even if we don't know, fully what parts was taken out, what parts was given, it don't take much to be a good person. And nothing that was given to you, where it says no one can erase my inheritance or my destiny. No matter how hard they try, no matter what they put into the situation or the simulation, have y'all not realized that even for us to get here at this moment in time, through everything that these people have done, is a blessing all on its own? Because it was designed for us to fail from the beginning. That's what they had into the simulation. But God had already blessed us and made sure that we was going to win. That's the funniest thing, because it always reminds me of DJ Khaled. DJ Khaled, and I know he was getting on everybody's nerves, but he kept saying it. They don't want me to win, but God does. Like when you start tapping into your inheritance, like divine timing, divine blessings, stuff that was already given to you before you even came on this earth, before you even existed on this planet. Mike, good morning. Before you even came into this simulation, and even in the book of Jubilees, God was already talking about lineage, talking about DNA, talking about people that weren't even here. I had to close the door, y'all. Talking about people that was not even here, were not even into existence yet. God was already talking about you. Mike, how's your morning going? God had already blessed you. And once God blesses you, it don't matter who try to curse you. God is more powerful. The wealth of knowledge, favor, and authority flows to me because I honor my covenant. Like, get in touch with your star player. That's oneness, wholeness with you, but also your number one fan, God. Your number one fan has always been God. God blessed you before you even came into existence. If you go look at the story, even creation, excuse me, even by the way all of them describe it and tell it, our biggest out became an angel that didn't want to bow to us, but God was already saying that we were made magnificent and amazing. We just had to find out, and we just had to know. Why do you have to wait until somebody says it to you, though? Because this simulation, this situation right here is designed like it is like a person laying on the ground with somebody's foot on their face. But mind you, all you have to do is get up. I know it's hard, because it's probably very hard to get up with somebody got their foot on your neck, pressing as hard as they can. But you can get up. We all gonna have to get up. So God's spirit awakens my understanding, my vision, and my lineage to its intended glory. You were designed to be the head and not the tail. The head and not the tail. The beginning and not the end. Why does somebody gotta make you always try to feel like you're less than? Why is somebody trying to take? Why is somebody trying to hoard? Why is like this planet was big enough for everybody? But mind you, I'm also starting to notice and pay attention to things that are not true. People lie. Numbers don't lie. And people will inflate their importance. Like I'm proud of the people that are pushing for the maps to be redesigned and constructed the way that they should be, because for all intents purposes I was looking at the map last night, and if you have any time today, go look at a map and look at how places are further away if you go this way, but if you also bring that map this way, you'll notice that the place is really right there. Why did they make it the way that they did? Because if you look at Australia, like the Americas right here, Africa, mind you, they made Africa smaller, and they made Russia huge. Mind you, Russia can fit inside of Africa. Also, along with the United States and many more. Like if you go look at the width and circumference of it, y'all, this Earth is big, but not what they trying to do. Like they did this, but technically, if you move the map, because that's what I did last night, and I'm like, why did I never do that? Thank you, Chico. And thank y'all for being here too. Let me see. Did I not do that? Okay, let's fix it. Yep, I didn't. Okay, let's fix this real quick. Sorry, y'all. Yeah, go look at a map, and on a map, move it from one side, and you'll see where Australia is far on the other side, right? But if you take and move the map, let me see if I still got it up here. Yeah, right here. You can actually fit the map in a full screen, right? Is what it looks like. And so United States, they have it up here, and Australia is way over here. But if you move the map, because it's not going to go any further, move the map over, and the United States is literally right there. Like Australia here, map there. But on when it's like this, it looks like Australia is way over there. But if you go this way, it's right here. Why are they distorting things? Because they want you to feel small. They want you to think that you don't have the numbers that you have. Why is that? And you can go look it up for yourself. I pulled it up. It's Google Maps right here. Literally, look at the map and move it from one side to the other. Look at the beginning when it first pulls up. It's going to show you that the United States right here on one side, because it has exactly where I am, my location. It has a heart there, and then way on the other side is where it's showing Australia is. But if you move this map just keep going, and you're going to realize how close everything actually really is. Why is that? Why do they make certain places look bigger than what they are? Whose narrative does that push, or does that fit, or does that help? I can almost guarantee you that's not yours. So now it's wondering, everybody saying they lie, they lie, they lie, or they continue. We keep finding lie after lie after lie. But we honestly probably don't even know how deep or how far these lies really actually go. Because if they lied about something as simple as the map, what else would they lie about? We already know they lied about history. We already know they lied about locations. Whose narrative does it push? And why do they get mad at us for realizing when they have done something? But mind you, this is also the other thing. The more people that wake up, um, they can't start silencing, one person, because normally it'd be one person screaming from the hilltop, and so they can take that person, delete them out of the system. And then it's like, oh, that one crazy person that said this, that, and the third. Meanwhile, we at war and we beefing, right? And this is the good thing about war and beefing. That's what I've been saying to my family, but they don't listen. Well, sooner or later, everybody gonna listen, because this is the great thing about war. Um, and just you can put it towards you arguing or beefing with somebody. Have you been or ever argued or beefed with somebody and then they started telling all the business? Like we was cool just a week ago, so you knew all my dirty secrets, right? And then when you start going to war with people, they start, they want to embarrass you. So they start telling all the business. That's the great thing about war. So the sad part is that, people die. But the good thing is, the truth gets revealed. And the other part is, because I was going to say something, people die every day, but people have died for less. And so just think about the people who have died in trying to tell the truth. Nobody believed them. And then all of a sudden now it is all the conspiracy theories are being proven true. But people died for this. People got labeled as crazy for this. And now it's almost like they didn't die in vain, because now, stuff is being shown. Mind you, if you actually go look at the text and even the Bible, they gave us the Bible as not as a prophecy, but as, I feel like, more control, especially over here in the US, because we didn't have all the text, all the canons, everything that was in it. But when you go look at the Ethiopian Bible, or if you go look at any of the texts, the Dead Sea Scrolls, things of that nature, y'all, it is prophecy playing out right now that was written in them documents and in that old text, that is literally playing out right now that they thought you shouldn't see. And they'll say it was a lie, but how was it a lie if it's playing out right here, right now? Sometimes a person will give you information. It's like the people who have premonitions, right? They'll tell you something. So a lot of y'all could be seers or something, and you'll get something. And you'll say, God told you something. And people will be looking at you like you crazy, because you could predict that in 2026 this is going to happen. Mind you, it don't happen in 2026. It happened in 2027. Or it might not happen in April of 2026. It happens in August of 2026. But people will label you as that information ain't good. Like, when they was talking about last year, 2025, y'all remember the rapture happening? So somewhere in history, just know that in 2025, the rapture happened. And for all intents purposes, everybody was laughing. People was calling people crazy, this, that, and the third, da 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 da, right? People were saying, you won't know the time, nor the place, nor the da 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 da. And what was funny to me was this: just because we didn't see it, don't mean it didn't happen. We got left behind. Now, some people got left behind. Why? Because you're supposed to be here to help other people. Because literally yesterday we had a conversation about, it's text prophesied, and it's also in the Bible, that people will be so afraid that their hearts will stop. God don't give you a spirit of fear. You already know that whatever is going to take place is already going to take place. It said 10,000 will fall at you will only observe, because you're already prepared. You already know. You stayed in covenant, or you're getting in covenant. Because the one thing about the covenant is you get to now, at this moment in time, ask God to show you. Like, past the book, past the idols, past the books, past what somebody has inserted into the system. You get to go to God for yourself on your own behalf and say, I didn't know. Show me what I'm supposed to see. Show me what I'm supposed to follow. It's just as simple as they didn't want you to see this. They didn't want you to know that it was 364 days in the Jubilees. They didn't want you to know that every 50 years there's a Jubilee, that everything is, there's no slavery. Mind you, I just watched a video yesterday that somewhere on the world is somebody that's been in, a family has been in slavery for 75 years to this day. Slavery is still happening. It's a violation. Every 50 years, it's supposed to be released and done. Mind you, you only allowed to go into slavery when you're out of covenant. But they wouldn't want us to know that, because it takes your power back. It forces you to now be accountable for something. You can't hold me past this time. But mind you, there's people actively freeing people in other countries right now out of slavery. You want to know what one of the people was enslaved for $75. They had these people and their children in slavery for $75. We are still in it. And is, they just call it employment now. And is, mind you, I keep saying people don't realize we the real live Game of Thrones. Like, we're really literally right now the real live Game of Thrones, because if people don't know that when you go back, the reason why these people were allowed to come over here was because this place got conquered, da 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 da, this, that, and the third. This nigga up here, because I was laughing. Apparently the man that's sitting up there right now ain't listening to history or nothing either, because this nigga is over here threatening people, and anybody that ever threatened them people over there, that's why I keep trying to tell y'all, the Vatican holding as much stuff as they're holding. I don't know why people don't realize the amount of power that these people have. Although they're acting like, oh, we only have a small place, here. Yeah, but why every time y'all show up? Anytime something gets found on earth, y'all niggas show up. And then people be forced to give stuff over to y'all. Like, literally, even right now, this man don't realize, like, you arguing with them, you better realize who moving around the chess pieces. And so I don't know why he don't know that, in order for him to think that he can threaten this man. Because if this man start realizing, like, y'all, it's people acting like it's throwing rocks and hiding their hands. It's a lot of that going on. It's countries that are actively silent right now, but they're the ones pulling the strings. They ain't gotta say nothing, but let it start being known and let it start being shown, or let you start being disrespectful, and watch what starts to happen. And he being disrespectful. Mind you, I ain't gonna lie, I like it, because again, I said when people start going to war, all types of stuff starts falling out the closet in the crevices, because people start talking, people start telling the business. People will start telling the family business. Especially when they at odds. So we may not like what's happening, because, of course, people are, coming up missing, people dying, people, this, that, and the third, da 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 da. But we can't tell God how to do a thing or undo a thing. Just pay attention to it being undone, though. Because if you see these people up here saying, oh, well, we're losing money because, like, we not going to feel sorry for you. Why would Coca-Cola, for all intents purposes, mind you, y'all already know I like Coca-Cola. I stopped drinking soda. The only soda that I ever drank was Coca-Cola. That was my shit. Mind you, one video, and I told y'all this was about 2 weeks ago, so I'm fairly new to this. But mind you, my son had just came in and brought me a very fresh, crisp McDonald's, because that's where I was getting this soda from. One thing came across the screen. Oh, they brokered a partnership with such and such to do this. Fresh drink down the drain. I'm on water, y'all, because you know what? What I'm not going to do is let people play in my face and actively say this is what we doing, and then you think that I'm a keep drinking it. No, thank you. But then that's the other thing. Pretty soon we're gonna have to watch other stuff, because once they figure out that, oh, the people are not as dumb as we thought they were. I haven't drank a soda in 15 years. Well, I mean, I ain't there, but I'm 2 weeks in. Mind you, I've been drinking more water than ever now. Now just think, mind you, about, and this was during Christmas time last year. I told y'all I was proud of y'all. Do y'all remember why? Let me tell y'all, because around Christmas time, it was being reported on the news that several alcohol companies, several alcohol companies, excuse me, had filled their warehouses up, And because they was ready for the onslaught of people to come into drink, because the system was triggering people and they was just doing stuff, and they just knew everybody was going to turn to alcohol, right? Because apparently throughout history, that's what people have done. 2 warehouses still full of liquor. Everybody stopped drinking. Look at us collectively getting the messages and realizing, fuck y'all. Y'all not gonna keep poisoning us in our face and actively acting like we gotta pay you for the poison. We not doing that. And then they was mad because guess what? Their numbers aren't hitting on what their numbers are hitting on. But now actively companies that's been in standing for a very long time is feeling their pocketbooks hurt. Good, because that's what the people been feeling anyway. How the hell Doritos, the lady was talking about that yesterday, that apparently it went up to $8. I haven't bought Doritos in forever and a day since, I was looking at the ingredients on that, and it was talking about, I seen somebody light a Dorito on fire. And that right there did it for me. Cause how are you using Doritos as fuel? That's crazy. And then to realize or know, now I have been in it because I like chips, right? I have been in the store to know that I wasn't paying no $5 for no chips. Mind you, when you get the little bags, now the little bags is $2 and something. I'm not doing that. So I didn't even realize that apparently everybody caught the BS, and everybody said I'm not doing it. Did you see that nobody bought any Easter candy? They reduced the prices and people still didn't buy it. And they shouldn't. Because why are we celebrating Easter? Like literally, I have to actively, this is where I had to take a stand, because I decided I wouldn't celebrate Easter for forever and a day. And you know how we kind of like let certain things go. Like, somebody say happy Easter to you and then you respond back. Like, I ain't even saying happy Easter back to you. Like literally, I don't celebrate that. Because that's going to put you out of covenant. That's going to put you out of timing. That's their stuff. Let them have their stuff. So if they want to celebrate Easter, let them do that. But I'm not doing it. Now I would like to know the, correct times and the covenant, like we was talking about, like every year you're supposed to celebrate this. And I said I gotta print that down because I need to, make sure I start writing it down. But we have to know that our contract is between God and us from the beginning. We can't let these people change our information or change our history and think that we gonna follow them, because it takes us out of the blessing. The wealth of knowledge, favor, and authority flows to me because I honor my covenant. That's important for us to know. Mind you, even right now in this system, it is showing you that companies and corporations that have been around for forever and a day is starting to announce that they are failing. Good. Because just because you could, don't mean you should. If you had done the right thing by the people, you wouldn't be failing. Instead of you putting the right ingredients, because I told y'all, I was looking at olives, right? Something just as simple as olives. Mind you, I like the ones olive stuffed with garlic. Um, Mind you, those are already, natural things. And if you wanted to preserve it, you can use the vinegar, you can use vinegar wine, you can use like lemon, you can use a couple of different things to preserve it in a container instead of whatever those chemicals are that you're choosing to put in it. It's natural ways for you to do a thing. But instead, in order to cut costs and to, increase their revenue, they choose to use chemicals. You should fail. Because just because you can, don't mean you should. Just because you can use chemicals that these people said, don't mean you should. I don't celebrate none Easter, Christmas, Halloween, Thanksgiving, damn, all of it. Every single bit of it. Give it back to them. Because literally, it was also the way for them to keep us out of covenant. It is a way for them to continue to keep doing or using us. It's the energy we have to also remember, because that's one of the things God been talking to me about too. Like your life force, like harvesting energy from you, period. Using your life force, decreasing your age. God didn't tell you the last time there was an age straight in covenant was when it was 120. Meanwhile, you know what they did? Made it so now you how old people living now? 50, 60, 70. If you blessed, you might get an 80. Mind you, biblically, you should be living at least until 120. But mind you, also biblically, in I think it's the Book of Jubilees, it talks about the age limit being increased again. Like people will start living longer. The destruction of what we supposed to do. Period. And that's a fact. So God's spirit awakens my understanding, my vision, and my lineage to its intended glory. I rise in covenant authority. I am a vessel of blessing, leadership, and restoration. You are the head and not the tail. Your covenant is with God. I don't care what these people out here telling you, and I ain't against nobody because it's not for me to be against nobody, but the covenant is with God. People will come along to insert themselves and they will say, and not to say that anything was, because we need to know the stories, but we also have to realize that depending upon who's talking, who's narrating, who's translating, and the communication, in between here and there, their language to this language, it may not have gotten translated over properly. Talk to God about it, because these people will give you with their doctrine, and now you're out of covenant because you're out here celebrating something and you shouldn't be celebrating that. The covenant was to remember God every year. Remember the covenant. Even the covenant, when they gave the tablets, you're supposed to be celebrating that in a way. And it's very specific instructions. It's just even getting to the point where yesterday I was looking at something because I was talking about the incense, right? God gave them specific instructions for these incense. And so in the text it says that the incense should not be created for nobody, for anything other than for God, right? And then lo and behold, somebody translated it over and they said they used it was funny, but for all intents purposes, you're gonna have to talk to God about it. They said God, they was hot boxing because the ingredients are literally what the ingredients are. And mind you, and everybody kept saying this come from the earth, this come from the earth, and then they started tampering with it. Like literally go look in where it talks about when they did the priesthood, because that Adam was the initial lineage for the priesthood, right? So as everybody got stuff passed down, and it told you who specifically was supposed to do this, who was supposed to do this, who was supposed to do this, because they were tending to the Garden of Eden the whole entire time, right? And so even when they got kicked out, they were still the priest, the lineage, the line that was of the priesthood. And so you talking about the video in the chat? Yes, the one I sent you yesterday. But remember the other day I specifically said the incense that was given, the instructions were for them not to be replicated unless, like, that's supposed to be totally for God. It's supposed to be in the temples. And so that's why I was laughing when they described it like that. Like they said they was hotboxing, because literally that's what was supposed to be in the temples. But that was what was being sent up to God because it was pleasing. But mind you, they didn't tampered with and tainted the scripture. They removed what they wanted to and gave you what benefited them. He said, yeah, I was laughing too. I mean, it was funny to me because, like, it's funny how, like, even though it's stuff from old, old literature, like how when they talk about it and they put, the noun times on it, and it just felt sound funny how they describe it because that's the new words, but technically they wasn't lying because but it had me cracking up. I rise in covenant authority. I'm a vessel of blessings, leadership, and restoration. The enemy cannot hinder the covenant promises over my life. My path is secure and prosperous. Amen. Because once you recognize it, once you see it, once you talk to God about it, it can't be touched unless you start doing stuff out of covenant. And we may not know what everything is. Why? Because of the fact that it has been, rewritten, corrupted, tainted. Let me move this over here. Let me not show them this. Let me hide this. This ain't even been translated into this language. It's stuff that we ain't even seen. Like literally yesterday, I was listening to something and it was talking about the giants, right? Which was sad because, and this is the reason why they saying that they took these parts out. Why? Because you can't. Anytime you know a name, one, when you know the name of something, it's almost like it gives it whatever the power is into the name. But also when you know stuff about people, it makes you either feel, happy, sad, or whatever for the people. It makes you start to empathize with people, right? So it was talking about how, because I said if giants were existing on this earth and they were, there's pictures of certain taller people that were working and they had families and this, that, and the third. And now it seems like it only exists in one trait, with a certain group of people, because there's some dudes that's around here. And mind you, they showed up on Mr. Beast, one of Mr. Beast videos. These niggas is huge. They some African dudes, right? And they look like double the size, like three sizes of the people. Like they can just pick somebody up and hold them like this. I know them niggas can with one hand. Anyway, so it was talking about the story of the giants. And so it was basically like they kept having dreams. The angels kept having dreams about their kids being killed because that was their kids, right? Mind you, how the book talks about it is that it was already a curse because the watchers were not supposed to, cross the line. That was one of the reasons why they saw the daughters of man, and then they found them beautiful, and then they started doing stuff they weren't supposed to. Mind you, come to find out also in the process, apparently these were the daughters of the Canaanites, right? So that was also the other thing, because remember, God told the children of Israel not to fornicate with the Canaanites. But mind you, the Watchers did. Anyway, so long story short, they kept having dreams about the kids being destroyed and everybody not being here. And so they sent Enoch to go talk to God about it. And God was basically saying, like, the initial curse was the fact that they even crossed lines, the fact that they did the deed and the do, right? Oh yeah, I saw the video of them that they, oh yeah, Mr. The dudes, the fact that they even did the dude. So that was where the original sin even came in. So even with that, this is where it's like the sins of the mother and father. That's that, because they were already set on a destruction mission because they were never supposed to crossbreed. And so once that happened, um, and the whole entire thing is like, God sat and watched it for a minute. Like, I'm gonna let this play out and we're gonna see how it's gonna go. But we already know that we're gonna destroy this in the end, basically. But then there's actual, giants that are being talked about that are having bad dreams and things of this nature, like they're gonna be destroyed, and they're trying to figure out why God would want to destroy them. Like, I know my mom and dad did this, but I'm a good, because it's good and bad in everything. And so one of the things it was saying, even, and this could be, a whole made up story for all intents purposes, but we do know this existed. So once we know that the giants existed, then we can almost kind of, make it make sense that even in this life, even in this realm with human beings, there's good people here, there's bad people here. There's good people that wake up on a daily basis wanting to change the world for a good way, but then there's people that wake up and it's destroy, kill, steal, and do anything and everything to corrupt the system. So just imagine now it is the same thing playing out, but it's giants that are dealing with this. And so now for all intents purposes that because your parents you know, created you, that now the earth is going to be destroyed. But mind you, you wondering why God hates you. Like, why would you hate me? Well, it's not that God hated them. It was just that they were never supposed to exist. This is another thing of, the fallen angels corrupting the system and doing whatever they thought that they was big enough to do. So let me remove that. But mind you, even in the process, then I was listening to something else, and I forgot what this is. I'll tell y'all what it was, but it was talking about even during the creation, before human beings came about, when before God said, let there be light and let there be this, it was already, them, because even in the other text, you hear when he said, I was there. One of the angels says, I was there when God said, let there be light. But mind you, in the text, even in Genesis, you hear it says us and we and they. And it started making me think who was there at the creation, because even over there it's saying that, right? Um, they were told not to and did anyway, even after. Yes. And so that was the reason why it couldn't exist. But anyway, so in another thing I was listening to, and it was God sent angels, and it was at least on the fourth one. The fourth one is the one that actually followed through on the job, because, and I forgot what it was called. So I'll go back and look at it and tell y'all. I'll look and tell y'all now. But anyway, so God was talking to the angels. They was all, there, and they was trying to talk about the new world that was going to be created, because the other world, and mind you, if you hear the prayer, Surah Al-Fatiha says, which is also another reason why I said, what are they, because each text is playing off of each text. Little do y'all know. So all of these things are bouncing one off the other. Anyway, so it says in Surah Al-Fatiha, in the name of Allah, the most compassionate, most merciful, all praises for Allah. All right, see if it's back up, Mike, because it looked like it's back up to me. So I don't know. Oh, yes, back up. How long has it been down? Do you know? I've got to run this back. All right, so we're gonna go back over here, because again, we talking about wealth transfer, and it begins wealth transfer activated. The awakening of bloodlines. They try to erase it. It's tied to your DNA. So also I said, because it's a lot, y'all. I gotta go back up. We ain't got done past this, but there's people that are finding out that their parents aren't the parents. Yeah, you good. Just about 5 minutes. Okay. So we still on affirmations, y'all, just so y'all know. It's been a lot. And I hope y'all got the other books that I just gave y'all that I was listening to. I rise in covenant authority. I am a vessel of blessings, leadership, and restoration. We have the enemy cannot hinder the covenant promises over my life. My path is secure and prosperous. We have to be mindful. See, I just said my case speeding up, and today is wealth transfer. Mind you, yesterday when we was talking, I said that everything seems like it's speeding up, like everything's going fast this month. Because last month from the 20th, it seemed like everything went slow. This month we're already at what? Today's the 9th. So it seemed like this has been going pretty freaking fast, and I don't know what that is. Well, I'll be upset if my mama not my mama. I love that lady. Well, some people's parents ain't they parents. The DNA ain't matching. So when the people are getting, and mind you, it's a lady that's talking about that. I done seen several people that are having that issue. Their mom is their mom, but their mom, because what happened is the old generation, the people that didn't want to talk about nothing. And I'm starting to. At first, I was thinking it was because of incest. No, it's people was being given kids back then that wasn't their kids. And then people was lying saying that the parents weren't around, but mind you, the parents were not deceased. So I don't know what it's tied to, but it's starting to look like it was like playing musical chairs with kids. And I don't know what that would be. Like, why would they be doing that? Something ain't right. Mind you, it's a whole history, and I got some of it up here where they were bringing kids in on trains, and something was happening because a lady just died. Like, and she had wrote some text, and she said that her parents were alive and well in another country, and they put her on a train, and brought her here. But mind you, she said she was documenting and writing it because she thought some people was going to show up to know the information, and she wanted to make sure that she remembered, but she said nobody ever showed up. So don't ask me what that was tied to in history, but something ain't right, because then I just stumbled across a story where New York apparently was flooded with a lot of kids. And yep, I'm trying to tell y'all. and my generation, the grandparents had to step in and be the parents. That was another thing. And then the kids was having, like, if a daughter had a baby or something, like, they would send them to upstate New York or something, or send them away when they was having babies, but because again that was tied to incest, or because they didn't want to know, you would be like a stain on the family. But mind you, these kids was just being left. And then there's a story about some man taking the kids. Apparently, he was supposed to be some church goer or something. And then, like, y'all, the history is so tainted and messed up. It don't make sense. The orphan trains, yes. And that was actually real. And then she said, the children are inheritance to control them. You got you got to be guardians. Yes. They were having them too early anyway. Yeah, and so that was tied to incest, but something it happened in New York where a lot of kids came in out of nowhere. But the thing is this: a lot of the pictures that I see, it looks like they're all white kids. But there was some black kids too, but a lot of them looked like they was a lot of white kids. Like, where did them kids come from? And so now it is, people was taking them in because they was leaving them in the streets and all types of other weird stuff. Like, mind you, now, because remember, DNA didn't exist during that time, like that, to take a test and this and the third. But this is why we also got to be, paying attention to what these people are doing, because a man just talked about DNA, and I remember this happened because I got the email too. And so the man said, and this is a white man, he said that he got a letter from Ancestry saying that his DNA changed. I did too. But how does DNA change? So what they're saying is that, behind the scenes, who owns Ancestry and who owns 23andMe? So he said what he noticed was that they wiped away, because he's a white dude, they wiped away his African ties. That's what he saw. Mind you, I don't know what they wiped away in mine during the time, because I don't know if I saved, and I'm normally notorious for doing this, like downloading something and saving it. So I may have whatever they changed it from too, but literally I remember that. So he's not lying and he's not wrong. Ancestry literally sent out messages saying that your DNA changed. How, Sway? I don't know. But mind you, the thing that I noticed is that one time, because the Finland part is one thing, and I remember showing it to somebody, right? But now it don't specifically say Finland on it for me anymore. It gives the region, I think. So, but a person was talking about me because they, once they seen that, they said something specifically about that. And now I notice that I don't see like that thing being singled out anymore. Change from what to what? I don't know. Like I said, as far as he's concerned, it showed that he had a portion or percentage of African in there. Now that don't say that is what he's saying. So it looks like they're trying to, wipe away certain people's black card, I guess. I don't know. Or maybe they trying to wipe away the white card. I don't know. But also this morning, something else I seen, because I told you these people are very obsessed. They're obsessed with DNA. Your DNA is your inheritance. It don't matter how they try to corrupt it here. God know who you belong to. That's why I'm telling you, your covenant is heaven. So even with people, like, you could potentially own land, or people could potentially own land. These kids, or anybody else could potentially own land that you're not getting because of the fact that they don't know who you belong to. But this is another thing that I've noticed. Something is happening in around here and everywhere else. Like, it's all over the world. There's a person, there's people that are investigating property, like old abandoned homes, right? Mind you, I'm seeing so many mansions and things that are abandoned, like people just walked out. There's like food still left in there. There's people's pictures still left in there. There is like stuff that should not be left in the house for anybody moving out, for a house to be either foreclosed upon or anything, something ain't right. Then the other thing that I'm noticing is it's like the great migration, right? That's happening. And for all intents purposes, I'm gonna tell y'all another reason why I ain't mad at that man. Because again, God's work is being done. The fact that he's doing, like, racism is costly, right? But the fact that this nigga is doing some of the stuff that he's doing is showing us, the people that are actually here, because you know how some of the people are running. I told y'all, the download, upload I got, don't leave the house. Meaning, don't leave this land, because if you do, you forfeit it. So it's people just running from country to country trying to get away from something, but mind you, not realizing this is global. Mind you, not realizing it's platform based. Because if you look at this map, it's like this. These people are not lying. And I wasn't a flat earther person at all, period. But the amount of land mass and the sizes that they're showing, you're going to have to look into it for yourself. Because ain't no way. It reminds me of a damn snow globe. Like, if in fact that Russia is not the size of Russia and Africa is bigger than Russia and all the other places can fit in Russia, I'm being inclined to think that that little, y'all seen that thing with them pods, and they said, it's like this is like a what you call them things, uh would you grow vegetables at, sun house. Like, I'm really starting to be inclined to think that that ain't far-fetched, because ain't no way you saying this was this size and then it not being this size. That's not expanding this. That's not expanding this. And so, again, I ain't never been that, but look at the map yourself, because something ain't right with it. I think them people was taken. Oh, you can't trust them anyway. Correct, they're wrong. They definitely wrong. Change from what to what? What was changed from what to what? Oh yeah, DNA. The DNA was changed. I don't know. That's what they said. So there's houses. Oh, I was gonna look up something for y'all. There's houses and stuff that y'all. Some of this stuff ain't adding up. Then the people are talking about the population ain't what they're saying it is. Like, y'all, they keep reporting that people ain't having babies. Mind you, this has also been a part of their whole little. They want people to have babies, but only certain types of babies. But even where I'm from Delaware, right? And I noticed in Delaware when I was growing up, when I was around 20 something, excuse me, I said it back then, it ain't gonna be black or white. It was always like a mixed thing, which it will eventually turn black anyway, because of the fact, yeah, greenhouse. They eventually are black anyway, because you know what I mean. It's a thing, but Delaware started to be nothing but mixed relationships. Black women, white men, black women, like that was what it started to be. And I'm starting to wonder, like, even throughout the world. Let me see. Let's see if I can find this. All right, this is one girl right here.
My parents about my DNA results, and I just got off of a 3-hour phone call with my parents about my DNA results, and I wanted to talk to you guys about it. I started out talking to my parents and showing them pictures of my dad's side of the family, of different great-grandparents, aunts, and uncles, and stuff like that. And after some time, I told my mom, I really wish, Mom, I could show you pictures of your side of the family, but I did not DNA match with you. And then I told her that, I DNA matched with this person, and I asked them, the 31% guy, and they have no idea who this person is. It was the most calm, cordial conversation I have ever had between both of my parents. And my mom wants to do a DNA test because there are some things terribly wrong with her childhood. I understand why I did not get any vaccinations as a kid, and I now understand why I was homeschooled and isolated away from the family, especially my grandma. The grandma that I thought was all sweet and nice, there is some terrible things going on, and it took all three of us with the realization of me not being related to anyone in my mom's side of the family, to the known family line that we thought my mom was a part of, to even discover this. My mom realized tonight that she has never seen a picture of herself as a newborn being held by anyone in her family. My mom just suddenly appears as a toddler. And my mom had a really hard childhood. My grandma was not nice to her at all. My grandma had a very bad habit of divorcing men and remarrying and cheating, and she did a lot of things for money. She had adopted multiple children just for the sheer purpose of always having an income, from wrongfully claiming child support to social security draws. My grandma always had a way of getting money off of other people so she could do whatever she wanted. There's some other things about my mom's side of the family, about inheritance, how my mother was cheated out of the inheritance of her dad, being that she should have been the only child that he ever had. They completely cut her out of any kind of inheritance from him. She could never understand why, and we think it's because the family knows that my mom was adopted or possibly a stolen child. I can't explain all of the issues that my dad had and the alcohol issues and stuff like that. I can't explain, why my teenage years were so rough, and the isolation and the not wanting me to do certain things and just being really controlling. I can't really explain that, but I can understand why there aren't any medical records for me. I can kind of understand, why I was socially isolated away. Just things are making a lot more sense now in that regard. My mom's going to be doing a DNA test, and hopefully we find out who her actual family is, because at this moment in time, something is terribly wrong, and we all three can calmly agree together that something is wrong. That's the first time in my life that that's ever happened. So, yeah, there's something going on.
So for all intents purposes, right, the fact that they even are, all in agreement and able to do this is an amazing and wonderful thing. Because in most families, they will tell you to keep it quiet and don't do nothing. Mind you, she ain't the only person. There's another lady, I don't know if I already removed her from the thing, but she said the same exact thing. She took a DNA test and her daddy wasn't her daddy. So, that was a shock to them, but mama's baby, papa's maybe, but apparently this ain't mama's baby. So how would that have been mama's baby? These are the people who their land is being sprayed over right now. They own a homestead. It says right over our off-grid food, forest, and homestead. Very interesting. It makes one pass and it sprays. It makes another pass and then it sprays. The bird came and told them that this ain't right, because the geese rode out. So whatever they spraying, she said, I'm scared of them ghosts. Y'all see it spray? They didn't order that. That whoever that is spraying over top of them people food. This the family that's been enslaved for 75 years. Right now to this day. Set of parents, kids, and I have a little group over there, and this is what we do. From 5 in the morning all the way to about 7 p.m. This is what they do, and the whole family works. But today, we're going to set them free all the journey. So we have a family here who've been in slavery for about 75 years. 2 parents. Nisa said she was raising multiple babies for money when men, some very hateful. Yeah, and you remember Annie, it's a hard knock life for us. It's a hard knock life for Annie. Set of parents, kids, and I have a little group there, and this is what we do. From 5 in the morning all the way to about 7 p.m. This is what they do, and the whole family works. But today, we're going to set them free all the journey. 75 years. Now, what the hell? And mind you, I can almost guarantee you that the amount of money that it's for don't make no sense. Oh, Abby, this is gonna be for you because this makes a whole lot more sense. And remember, I told you them niggas was African. Mind you, I've been telling people that them niggas was African. Whatever was happening in 2020, remember I said that glitch, the on-site, like whoever who, and it gotta like y'all figure it out for yourselves. But who paid them? Because literally, this literally says Ghanaians, and this one I don't like them, and Nigerians, because it's always a scam, some shit were paid to target Black Americans on social media in 2020. Abby, do you remember the shift, the glitch? And all of a sudden, everybody was going through psychosis, is what they said. It was this. Okay, I can't play that because it's got music. But literally, they did a study on it, and there's some fraud in this house. And mind you, scam alert. This happened back in 2020, and they used, and I told you them people was African. Remember, I said because at that time when I went through the glitch, I was FaceTiming people. I was not talking to nobody on no phone because I couldn't trust nothing that was happening because it was weird. It was like being circled by a gang of people, but mind you, it just wasn't them. It was literally people that was here. Like I seen a guy say he got paid to gang stalk somebody. This is the stuff that I don't know who was doing this, but apparently it was real. And so when everybody was saying, "Oh, they're crazy, why is it now being shown? Because literally, it's now being shown. It's right here. There's an investigation behind it, and I literally said what I said, and I was not wrong. Something is happening in New York, and I'm gonna tell y'all why. New York. This is what they're showing. This is the fire department burning down the Bronx, right? And this happened. Let me see. This says a day ago. These houses right now, they was making them think or say that they was on fire. But there's places. It's like Atlantic City, New Jersey. I've been seeing it along South Carolina, where the beaches and stuff are. Something is happening because a couple showed up. They went to South Myrtle Beach. Myrtle Beach now is looking like it's like in New York. It's whatever along that Atlantic coast, because that's what that is. They look like ghost towns. A couple just rented out some places, and mind you, it could just be because of the season, whatever. But apparently, it is dead. Like nobody's in the hotels, nothing. There's places that are by, I think, where the casinos are up here, wherever this is in New York. I'm literally watching people go through some of these towns, and they're telling people to stay to the areas where there's cars. So I don't know what's happening over here for real, but it's a lot of stuff that ain't being seen. Abandoned buildings, Atlantic City, yes, Atlantic City, along New York, where New York, whatever that area is up there, because I think that will be where the whatever that is. But mind you, people leaving. Where they going? What is happening? And so people have to be very mindful. Charles, hi, welcome. Thank you for being here. Charles said get a like, so please and thank you. So that's also happening. But mind you, if you go look at New York right now, New York got areas that ain't nobody at. Like nobody. They're leaving as if they know something we don't. Well, or they being taken, like he said. Because I ain't going nowhere. Like until God tell me to go somewhere, I'm not going nowhere. Like I ain't running from nowhere, nobody. Whatever's going to happen is going to be whatever happens. That's just what it's meant to be. So, remember God's promises are eternal. I will bless you, and you will be a blessing. Genesis 12:2. Attempts to rewrite the history or the story or erase the history cannot prevent destiny from unfolding. Why is it saying update videos? Like something came across there. Hey Charles, attempts to rewrite the story or erase history cannot prevent destiny from unfolding. The awakening of bloodlines is real because God never forgets his people. Excuse me. The signs are all around. Families tracing lineage through DNA, knowledge of lost histories resurfacing, generational wealth, knowledge, and authority being restored. This is your reminder to walk with awareness, honor your heritage, embrace the blessings, prepare for you. The world is alive, prophecy is unfolding, and your season of divine inheritance has begun. And it begins wealth transfer, activation, awaken, rise, remember who you are. Now, as of now, today, I also saw that there's a request from our government for health records and things of that nature, right? But also, we got to remember, if there's something that happened, she said it's a distraction, period. If there was something that happened and you don't want nobody to know, or you need to cover it up, or just suppose, and I'm gonna say for entertainment purposes right now, because y'all see I've been doing good. I ain't said entertainment purposes at all, but literally we're gonna say it right now. Okay. So just suppose, because hypothetically, those children that were brought over here, y'all put entertainment purposes in the chat, please and thank you. All the immunizations that they got, all the records that they need. Yeah. And so just suppose that the children that they brought over here, because where did them kids come from? Nobody knows, right? They got raised in the system, right? Suppose they were waiting for them to grow up so that whatever it is that, whatever their agenda they could further, or, everybody entertainment purposes only. Whatever their agenda is or their cause, that they could now, kind of insert those children into whatever society or system. And so this is the reason why they could potentially be needing people's, records and things of that nature. Because when you start asking for records, what are you looking for? When you start dropping information to the people, what are you looking for? Everybody entertainment purposes only, because what are you looking for? It's like what I told y'all about the files. Them files would have never came out because literally that is a bunch of stuff that goes against them. But why would them files have come out in that massive number? It was too many files and they needed people, all eyes on it. This is like, everybody pay attention. Everybody figure it out, because whatever it is they're looking for, it needed more eyes on it. That would be the only reason. Why is the man, remember when they first did the system, entertainment purposes only, everybody, entertainment purposes only. Remember the people that was going through clearing out the system and shutting everything down, breaking down businesses and buildings, and they said that they was helping because they was trying to, get the waste and the what he call it? They was trying to figure out what was in the system. They start shutting down government buildings and this, that, and the third. Why is the one, y'all know which one, start with an E. Why are they so quiet? But meanwhile, they're still the ones that's holding on to the information. Why are they now? Why is all of our stuff, all of our documents, yours and everybody here in this system, everybody entertainment purposes only, why is all of our stuff literally being mixed together with everybody else's stuff? The system was designed to keep the, regular people over here and then the government people over here, but now the system is doing this. Why? Being that they were the original slaves to farm and lands and take over from their existence. Entertainment purposes only, period. Entertainment purposes only. All right, so let me show y'all. Brazil, and they were planted all over Brazil. Let's talk about the food. This global. Neighborhoods in Brazil.
The ones you're not. Let's talk about the favelas. Yes, I'm talking about those neighborhoods in Brazil. The ones you're not supposed to go into? Hi everyone, my name is Zoe. I'm an archaeologist in training and historian, and this is everything I know about the favelas. During the slave trade in the 16 and 1700s, Africans were brought to Brazil, and they were planted all over Brazil, from Sao Paulo all the way to Rio de Janeiro. Now, the name favela comes from a plant that was grown on those hilltops, something like this. Around 1896-ish, all of the slaves were freed. The reason to free slaves in Brazil were kind of on a number of things. There were other reasons, like them finding out that America had their slaves freed, and it was just a bunch of stuff. Anyway, upon freeing Afro-Brazilians, they were promised land and a house. And when
Hello, she called them Afro-Brazilians, like Afro-Americans. But mind you, us was over here already. And so them being actually taken, and where they're saying people went.
They were free, they were like, okay, where's my 10 cattle?
Mind you, and this is also, you see how God be working, because literally, what did I tell y'all? That the people on the Ethiopian wall, what did I tell you they look like? The people from the 70s and 80s over here, they had afros and goatees, which would be where the afro would be coming from. But the people on them Ethiopian walls look like the people over here during during the time of I want to say, y'all know the time of the afros, okay? Period. That time. That's who them people look like. Like now, the pictures that they're putting on the walls look like more of the people that are having the turbans and this, that, and the third. But the afro and the goatee, because I loves me a nigga with a goatee now. So y'all know I was going to see that. That's who's on them walls.
In the house. Where are we supposed to go?
And the government was like, this is high, period.
I don't care. Figure it out. So remember those hilltops that I told you about that were named after a plant? Those were not occupied by any of the slave owners or colonizers. They saw it as unstable land. They want to build something on flat, easy land they can walk to and be done with it. The favelas are very hard to walk through. So these freed Afro-Brazilians went up to the favelas and they created their own communities, which is why it still looks a little bit like... It wasn't until around 1960s where the government decided they wanted to step in. Now,
why?
That these Afro-Brazilians had it good because you can see the entire city overlooking wealthy neighborhoods from up above. They're like, wait, no, we want this. We want this now.
They always want to take something after you make it great.
And ex-military men out and their families, but they would put them miles and miles away from their neighborhood, just so they can have dibs on their stuff. Like, they tore down churches, buildings, houses, restaurants, stores, anything, everything. It was gone. They also had groups like Black Panther groups, but it was Sociedades Amigos de Barrio, which is basically called Friends of Neighborhoods. They protected everything that they had. What's interesting is the creation of crime in the Brazilian favelas, because it was never really like that. The prisons that were shared were between the people that were in politics that got in trouble and were put into the jails, and also people that were arrested in the favelas were put in the same jail.
Why is it always the people that are in politics that is always doing something?
So they, of course, were communicating and talking about their lifestyle, and they ended up sharing. The politicians that got arrested ended up sharing with the people in the favelas how they create their own income illegally. And because the favelas didn't have as many churches and schools and job opportunities, they were like, well, shit, we got to find out some way to do it. Like, they began to educate themselves and figure out a way to make things work, which is why the crime rate in the favelas is so high now, because it's basically their only promised way of income. The government's not going to help with any of that. So, but yeah. That's how the favelas were made. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. Bye. Let's talk about the favelas.
So the awakening you are witnessing, the stirring of bloodlines, the curiosity about your true origins is the fulfillment of this prophecy. People are beginning to see clearly the truth of their heritage. The knowledge of your forefathers once hidden is rising to the surface. Now let's see what else I got over here. Oh, let's see if this got music on it.
What they did on Easter Sunday, 1870, Easter Sunday massacre, they removed from your history book.
It got music in it, so y'all gonna have to go look it up yourselves. Let me see if I can read it or if it's gonna go fast. It says on Easter Sunday in 1873 was so horrific that the government spent 150 years trying to cover it up, making sure you never learned about it. Cold facts about Louisiana Easter Sunday: a group of black men had just won a local election. They were legally elected, legitimately certified. White supremacists didn't accept the results. They showed up with rifles, a cannon, and some military stuff, and they went in there, they killed everybody. So that, mind you, the people surrendered. They threw up the flags, everything. So the people didn't even have to kill them, but they did. It says they burned them alive, 150 men inside the courthouse. For days, nobody came to collect them. The bodies had just lingered out in the street. They were buried forever. The men who committed this massacre was arrested. They went to trial, and the United States Supreme Court threw the case out. They ruled that the federal government had no authority to protect black citizens from violence by private individuals. And y'all wonder why I keep trying to tell you these people can't govern here. They can't govern here. They gotta go. They don't care about you. How are you going to govern over people that the government is not for us? It is one-sided. So you came over, you stole the land, you now try to put your foot on people's necks of the people who belong here. And y'all keep talking about, oh, we got to vote during the this, the that, the third. No, we got to vote to get their asses up out of here. The whole system is corrupt. And I get that y'all want to, play nice, but literally God told y'all, if y'all go look at y'all covenant, don't make treaties with these people. Ain't no good in them. So all y'all talking about we got to vote during the preliminaries. No, we got to preliminarily get all of their asses the hell up out of here. You got to take the land back, and you can't put that system back into play. God said not to do it. It's a prophecy already written, and they took it out so y'all wouldn't know. But y'all ain't gonna go look up nothing because y'all gonna say, oh, they're extremists, they're this, they're that. Like, literally, all I'm trying to tell you is that your covenant is with God. It ain't with these people. These people don't care. The government, even the Supreme Courts, didn't even make them honor the treaties that they had. These people don't care. Everybody that sits in those seats are worried about themselves. They don't care about us. They against their own, so why govern at all? Exactly. Facts. They were only told to civilize them, not to mate with them. Mind you, guess what? How you gonna civilize people that were already civilized? Mind you, they're uncivilized. It's a thing where they keep trying to make us think that they have always been better than us, but you've never been better than us. The only thing you've been better at us is you kill first, ask questions later. And God don't have that in us. That's the only reason. Because we will try to rationalize black people. That is our number one flaw, like literally in the system. And we'll always try to see the good in a person. Like, and I'm going to say it's a blessing and a curse. Because literally it's a curse to the point of we let these people keep playing in our face. And ain't no good in them. Ain't no good in them. They don't care. They would rather kill, destroy, cover up history, wipe it away clean, and still start their bullshit again. That's all they're going to do. It's a perpetual cycle. So at some point in time, we're going to have to understand that if you don't want your children's 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 children to continue to keep playing out the same cycle, they don't have a new playbook. Their playbook is the same. Kill, steal, destroy. Wipe it clean, start it again so y'all don't know. Now that y'all know that, now what? Continue to keep letting it happen? Yeah, because that's what y'all going to do. Like, oh, it's going to be, no. They don't care about us. They don't care about you. And I don't care, like, if you're part of the collective that wants things the right way, they don't care about your ass either. Okay? So just know that. They care about their money.
You don't own this place. You don't own America. No, you should move on.
Mind you, this is weird because y'all, if y'all go look at this, Lakewood, New Jersey. My family is from Lakewood, New Jersey. I mean, I got like my family is from my dad. Literally, one of my cousins right now is at my dad's house that I just talked to from Lakewood, New Jersey. My mom's sister's daughter. My mom's sister was in Lakewood, New Jersey. My mom and my dad. My brother is literally born in Lakewood, New Jersey. This is Lakewood, New Jersey. And I literally was saying it when I was there. When I was going back and forth, up and down, I would literally see these people. Mind you, these people done like, how you gonna say you for God and be so evil and so corrupt to where you don't even care about the education of anybody else's children but your own. These people, this system right here ain't right. So I can't play it because it's on, music, but go look at it. Literally, them people up there ain't right. And so I'm telling y'all that, like, that's how closely I can tell you that they ain't right. Because when I was up there going back and forth, all this is all I seen. And it's weird. You're not welcome here. You're not welcome in a lot of other places. But mind you, they're doing this all over the United States. Little do people know. I watched it. There's another video that I have on here that the lady is saying that they was giving these people work visas and things of this nature. Not just them, all types of other people. They were giving them work visas to come over here. Meanwhile, Texas right now is having a problem. So in case y'all don't know, y'all need to go look up Texas, because Texas, one of the ladies that, and she's saying that these ain't the people that are, your regular run of the mill every day. I'm gonna do right by you citizens, and although they get over here, maybe they trying to do right, and I ain't knocking nobody for wanting a better life, but the way that they got over here, and so y'all, some of the things that this person is saying is not wrong. It's just the way it's not what you do, it's how you go about it. And again, just because you can don't mean you should. But literally, they were giving out passports and work visas and everything else. Their government was helping them do it. And so now it's like an onslaught of certain people in, certain locations. They were created for us to know to keep our covenant and not to fall into traps. Period. And you ain't never said it. New Jersey bound. That's where you gotta go to New Jersey. My people from New Jersey. I got people in Texas, people in New Jersey. Apparently, some people in California that I ain't never met. But I got people in California that I do know too. My aunt and my cousin and stuff is over there. Oh, where am I at? Let me see. Mind you, so this is the thing. Like, knowing everything, and everything is important. Everything is important to the system. So we have to be mindful. Because again, when we asking for the truth, it is being non-biased. So seeing everything, looking at everything, but also knowing that the covenant is more important. That's where you keep your eyes at. That's where you keep focus at. We just looking at the information just to know the information. Okay? So don't even, I know it might bring a feeling, but we're gonna have to do what we gotta do. Oh, this is the lady.
Everybody and their mother wanted to go to the United States. I saw the cracks, and I warned people when I served in India, when I saw.
All right, that's there too. It got music in it too. So she's basically telling y'all what I said. It's the Indian people. She worked at a passport location place. People that should not have been allowed to be over here. They've been over here. It's another dude that's investigated, and right now, Texas is flooded. And they're trying to figure out how, certain things are happening. But also, what I was going to tell y'all about some of the houses. Some of the houses, y'all, the people that left are not even from here. Like, they literally just bought a mansion here, came over here, got their families over here, and then something happened, and then they left. And just so y'all know, if you listen and you listen to my channel and you got a house over here that you want to just give me, I'm with it, okay? Because some of these mansions is nice. Y'all. But anyway, some of the families, though, for real, ain't from here. They're from other places, and they just hightailed it back to their location, and the houses is basically just running down. So some places still had electricity on them. She said the issue lies with the ones that excuse the crimes like high priesthood. Girl, you ain't wrong.
I just finished reading the very first speech.
Oh, then there was something about raw milk. So raw milk and a thing, but mind y'all, what she said, the title says the Rothschilds hate raw milk. So the only time that this person ever did a speech and the information that they used, she said, somebody else did the investigation, and this person actually spoke about it. So the reason why that exists is because of, and why. So you know, when people start getting involved in stuff again, especially certain names, why? Mind y'all, guess what? Remember I said all of a sudden my channels are triggering certain names? Some names then came across my channel and I'm being friended by people. And like I said, I think they just want me to see the names. So somewhere around here, I be thinking my little small channel ain't hitting nothing, but something is triggering the system. She said they coming through Mexico. No, this is India though. Nisbin, that's in India. There's folks buying property that lives out of America. Yeah, they live, but they were here. That's the thing. They were actually here because the way they left, like they left hella stuff in the houses. So you could tell they left pretty quickly. And why? But anyway, like I said, if they want an American citizen that they can give it to, I mean, I'm totally all for the go. So, you know, if y'all in my business, then, you know, be in my business. Don't be just out here watching shit. This showed up apparently. It says a 10,000-year-old. It looked like the Trident thing that's on there. Something about the Cabbage Patch Babies because apparently that's the real thing. I just thought it was a doll, but there's a book. So there's actually a book that exists, and this book is called. Mind you, I saw some other stuff as she was flipping through this book, y'all. I don't know. Let me see if I can see the title. It got music to it, so just so y'all know. But there's other stuff like this comment. So it says Columbia. I was just thinking about Washington, D.C., District of Columbia. I live near the Ohio capital of Columbus. Was it named after Christopher and other names for the Columbia? Chicago used the Chiliga spellings can change over centuries. But mind you, remember I told y'all the White House is on stolen land. That ain't their land. That's indigenous land. They ain't paying no rent, no bills, no nothing. Then it says, so the book is called Young People. It's 1888, right? It got some type of symbols or something on it. It says, very interesting book, so much depiction in our history. When you flip the pages, I noticed the page about bells and any idea what it means. Date, but mind you, it's 888. It's I, so you would think that it's 1888, but it says I 88. It says date 1-88 Loda LOTA 888, so that the book would be more real than whatever we think or whatever we know. Copy for me, please. So somebody saying they want a copy of it because literally it's an old book. But it's reposted it. It says when the fallen angels fell, they disrupted the laws of nature with their nasty, disgusting, evil asses. Therefore, the things on earth then reflected to be off balance and backwards to what they were meant to originally within the laws of nature. So, which is in turn made children grow from actual vegetation and produce to be fruitful and multiply. Again, some of these things, you know, may be far-fetched for us because of the fact that we know that that's not the way certain things are now. But just think, even in the book of Genesis, certain things that they took out when you listen to the book of Genesis in different communication, the serpent talking to Eve wasn't even an issue in nobody's text. You want to know why? Because they were talking. Even in the Bible, when the serpent was talking to Eve, nobody is upset by the fact that a serpent was talking. But also, it's like people's brains aren't wrapping around the fact that a serpent was talking. Now it don't talk. But before, in the Garden of Eden, animals was talking. You see what I'm saying? So it's almost like a person could tell you something right now. You go read the book of Genesis, and it says the serpent said was having a conversation with Eve. Nobody thinks nothing about it. It's almost like your brain it skims that part. But then in another text, it will tell you that these animals were talking, and when they got kicked out of the Garden of Eden too, because they got put out too. Everybody, it was Martin Lawrence. You ain't gotta go home, but you gotta get the hell up out of here. And then all of a sudden, they couldn't talk. But why is nobody's brain registering that? Mind you, the other part, because it wasn't a serpent until it got cursed. What was it before that? But then I told y'all I was listening to a text, and it says that, because even let me see where the part where it says, let me go to a different page, because I don't want to corrupt this page. How were the jinn created? Mind you, it told you. What else? What hidden text is this in? What other hidden text is this in? The creation of the jinn just isn't in the Quran. It appears in Islamic scholarly and mystical texts, some of which are considered more hidden, esoteric. Here's the breakdown. So, Tisfar literature, Quranic commentary, classic commentaries like Tisfar al-Tabari. It says elaborate the Quran 55 and 15, describing jinn as beings of fire who existed before humans. They sometimes include details about the hierarchy of jinn, their lifespan, and abilities, which aren't even explicit in the Quran itself. Hadith collections, esoteric mystical texts, Islamic folklore. So it says, in Islamic theology, the jinn are a creation distinct from humans and angels mentioned in the Quran and elaborated in the traditional Islamic text. According to Islamic belief, material of creation, jinn were created from smokeless fire. Arabic, Majori Menor. This is different from humans who were created from clay, 10, and angels who were created from light. Purpose, like humans, jinn were created to worship Allah, God. They have free will, can choose good or evil, and are accountable for their actions. Their nature, they were generally invisible to humans, can change shape, and live in a parallel world. They can interact with humans, but not inherently evil. Some are righteous and some are wicked. A reference from the Quran, and he created the jinn from a smokeless flame of fire. So, in a sort, jinn were created from smokeless fire with free will and a capacity to choose between obedience and rebellion. Now, for some reason, I remember it was in the part of creation. So, was that in the part of creation? Like on this day, he created the jinn. Like, you know what I'm saying? It was in the 6 days of creation, 7, but on the rest day. So it says, yes, the jinn are mentioned in the Quran, the context of creation, but the reference is more suitable compared to the story of human creation. Here's the breakdown. Human versus jinn creation. Humans were created from clay and earth. Jinn were created from smokeless fire. Angels from light. It says, Quran 55:15, he created the jinn from a smokeless fire. 51:56, I created the jinn and humans only that they may worship me. This places the jinn with the purpose of creation alongside of humans. The part of creation concept. In Islamic cosmology, creation is often divided into 3 main beings: angels, jinn, and humans. Jinn are considered a separate layer of creation between angels, spiritual, and humans, physical. Mind you, the only reason why I did that right is because of this. In one text, because in the Bible, let me ask this. Are the jinn located in the Bible? She said they were mad at me. I questioned everything, and you should. So jinn, as they are described in Islamic sources, are not explicitly mentioned in the Bible. The concept of beings made of smokeless fire with free will is uniquely Islamic. However, there are a few interesting points of connection that some scholars and historians note. Spirits and demons in the Bible. The Bible mentions spirits, angels, and demons, which share the same functional similarities with jinn. They can influence humans, possess free will, and exist in a parallel, mostly visible realm. Examples: Luke 8:2 mentions Jesus casting out unclean spirits, demons. Um, uh, Ephesians 6:12 speaks of supernatural forces of evil in the heavenly realms. It says, and some Islamic scholars interpret certain references to spirits or lying spirits, 1 Kings 22:21 through 23, as possible analogs to jinn. Jinn versus biblical angels and demons, but they are not the same. This is the thing. Because I told y'all, I just was listening to a text that said that there was a jinn that was allowed in heaven. Mind you, again, with anything good, bad, ugly, or indifferent, the good things are allowed to go in heaven. This particular jinn was actually teaching angels in heaven. And so this is why I keep saying, whoever's talking, whoever's narrating the story, and whatever their narrative is, whatever their purpose is to gain, they try to take out, or they try to remove, or they try to separate, not realizing that the full story being told is how we figure out what we need to figure out. So that's where some of the issues coming at. Satan will never change at all, right? But mind you, which one is Satan? Because literally I just listened to a text that said that the jinn was the one that got upset. The angels couldn't do anything different. But then I'm listening to another text that says that the angels fell from heaven, about 200 of them, which the way they describe it is like 1/3%, but 1/3% of the sky of stars ain't, or maybe, I don't think it's 200. This is where everything keeps being twisted and the truth got to be told. So the jinn said that it was upset because it was not going to bow to the humans. But mind you, the angel story is the same thing. So what we can ascertain is this: somebody got mad about the human race being in existence, because everybody is telling the same story as that is concerned. Who got mad is what's up for interpretation. Everybody gets the likes up. Please and thank you. So what's the question mark? The story itself, I can believe because it's told this text, this text, this text. Everybody's telling the same story. But everybody, depending upon, where they play at, is the thing. So even with this, people will say that they don't like the Muslims. The Christians will say they don't like the Muslims because they don't believe in Jesus. That's not true. This is the reason why I said I'm not going to argue with nobody's religion. But what we should start questioning is this: if God told you that you were blessed beforehand because the covenant is between you and God, why and who came along and said that the covenant is different? Meaning, if you were told that God created the heavens and the earth, and on the seventh day it was a rest day, and all the texts say that, who decided that all of a sudden now you shouldn't be following that? Because that would be a problem. That takes you out of covenant. If the text say, because we can only talk about the first five, because they said the Torah is the first five, right? And whatever's in the first five should have translated over into everybody else's text, which it almost seems like it did, but there's a narrative being painted depending upon, which religion you fall in, which is the reason why I keep saying the covenant is God, beginning and end. A prophet, a son, like if I call my mama and I say something to my mama, I can get something mixed up and wrong that my mom said to me. If I'm just a counselor or somebody that's relating a message, I can get something wrong. But why is everybody standing 10 toes down on the book and not 10 toes down on God. And the reason why I'm saying y'all gonna stand 10 toes down on the book and not on God, because if God showed up today, y'all would kill it. And even if y'all didn't kill it, y'all would let the people kill it. Y'all wouldn't stand 10 toes down. You wouldn't ride for God. You would let them kill it. So to me, it is whatever is going on in the brain of human beings is the issue. Because why y'all can't see that? Like if you're not gonna fall for, if you're not gonna stand for anything, meaning if the people that claim they love Jesus, y'all didn't love him enough. Because why, with so many people being around, why y'all didn't fight to the death for Jesus? Why y'all didn't do that? Because y'all don't love it. Why, if this person, like, why is there so many different sections in each area? Because Christians got this Christian Pentecostal, Baptist, this, that, and other, because everybody want to put them in the midst of. Same with the people of the Quran. Y'all got when somebody says something to me, oh, what kind of Muslim is it? Is it Sufi? Is it this? Like, this is the reason why. Because if it's the word, it shouldn't be an argument. That means that these people ain't fully believing in this, and these people ain't fully believing in this, and these people have their own agenda for whatever this is. And then depending upon who comes along and who says something, it's up for interpretation. But guess what's not up for interpretation? God being God, beginning, middle, and end. Not up for interpretation. It is said amongst the angels. It is said amongst the jinn. It is said amongst the human beings. God is God before, in the middle, and after. So if we're going to ride for God, we have to also know that we ain't afraid of nobody or nothing. Because God told us all we have to do is talk to God about it. God, please get them. Because I don't like, whatever's happening in the world, that people are ended up being so corrupt because of the fact that they got their eyes on everything else and not on God. God Almighty never changes, and period. Wherein lies the problem, and period. The great ancestors, God was not for them, creating without permission or purpose. And they're out here lying, because everybody out here lying. Why do you have to lie? Why is it that you have to take now with this person? If you know that the creation was this, why would you take out text? Why is there a book that exists with this many texts in it, but also why are these scrolls over here? And why it's all the account? Because you have to remember, how many of y'all journal? If you're a journal, right? If you're a person that journals, just imagine that somebody finding your journals 200 years from now. And you writing everything in the books that is pertaining to everything that's going on, the spiritual war, the war, the people, and everything else. Somebody's going to take it as an account of a biblical account or as a spiritual account of history. Mind you, you're going to be prophesying about the same exact thing, because at this point, when your parents was telling you that this is the end, like we at the end of days, you're going to be still saying we was at the end of days. And then it's going to be some stuff that was being said, because again, if you look at the prophecy, if you look at the books, it was prophesied now. Two brothers fighting. We can definitely agree on that. Because even in the when they talk about the Anunnaki and all of these other things, that story passes over from generation to generation to generation, society to society. Keeps being the same narrative, same story. The great ancestors, gods was not for them. She said, therein lies the problem. I'm gonna tell them Michael Jackson was Jesus, healed the world. And you ain't never lie, you might as well, because guess what Michael Jackson was doing? Leaving us jewels and gems. Like literally. But mind you, you got to think, they was in a realm where they would kill them, because guess what happened when you start saying stuff? You die. So Michael Jackson started saying stuff. Remember, Prince started saying stuff. Why is it that every time somebody starts saying stuff, they start being deceased. It's never the person that's doing the stuff that is deceased. So, for all intents purposes, I would agree with you. I'll co-sign it. See what I'm saying? I'll be like one of the disciples. Yup. All right. So the wealth transfer is happening, both spiritual and material. God promised Joseph favor in Egypt, turning his trials into triumph and restoring inheritance to his family. Genesis 41. The same principle applies to you. The blessings of your ancestors, the bloodline, and your covenant with God are now activating. Are you activating it? Remember, at one point in time, this is generational chain breakers. You. Because at one point in time, they could give these people, the old people, the books, and they not going to question nothing. They not going to care. But also, you got to think, this is the informational state where I can sit here and I can send information clear across the world to somebody else, like whoever's in here listening. Erin was here last night. She's from Australia. It's people from all different walks of life. Miss Kelly was in here. She in New Zealand. It's people from everywhere, all walks of life, that we can all get the same information real quick, and we can all go and type it in, Google it, look it up, and then the word can be spread faster from this person to this person to this person saying this, and this. But mind you, they still trying to control, because they will try to control the algorithm. They will try to control the information, and here and there somebody will get passed through. Like this one. When the fallen angels fell, they disrupted the laws of nature with their nasty, disgusting, evil asses. Therefore, the things on earth then reflect to be off balance and backwards to what they were meant to originally be. And I done said this is the upside down. But on another note, what if the angels didn't do it? What if the jinn did it? But what if the angels, the jinn, and the human beings did it? What if on this side is good and on this side is evil and bad, and everybody, jinn, angels, humans, fall into this category, and on this side, jinn, angels, and humans fall into this category? So you got the good ones over here, and then you got the bad ones over here. But meanwhile, the bad ones are looking like the good ones, and then the good ones are looking like the bad. Because this is the great upside down. Don't let the left hand know what the right hand doing. Throwing rocks and hiding your hands. Stealing and manipulating and lying. Meanwhile, I keep telling y'all, I ain't vote for that nigga. God did. The reason why he's able to sit there is because God did. Whether or not nobody likes it or not, God did it, because we wouldn't have as much information as we do if somebody else had got put there. They would have been trying to sweep shit under the rug. And whether or not a missile flies here, there, and everywhere, guess what? It's only going to reach where it needs to reach when God wants it to reach. Why? Because we asked for the truth. Everybody said they were tired of being lied to and about. So guess what happens? We don't get to tell God how to do it. All we got to do is try to see through the lies and this, what, that, and the third. That's why we got these people over here arguing about, whether or not the Israel is a people. It is tied to Jacob. Mind you, God told these people, the children of Israel, that they will be like basically cast out. Like, you're going to be walking from here to here to here, but I promise you, you will go into the promised land. Y'all act like y'all can't see. Them people that's over there saying that they whatever, that ain't get what God told them to do. They technically out of covenant, because literally, like, how are you doing that in God's name and saying that you are the chosen people? Mind you, your people is all over the place, and the secret things that y'all have been doing behind the scenes, the people that you are protecting, God ain't letting that slide. So this is how sometimes, like, we just got to put our hands up, and whatever's happening, let it happen. And don't have an opinion about it, because why? If you ask God to do something, let God do it. I keep referencing and telling y'all, it was some people once upon a time, Virginia, backwoods, whatever it was, they was, rah for the people up there. Oh, we're going to do this, and the third. We done got stockpiled. They done did everything they could do. And then God sent a storm on their ass. And guess what happened to their stockpiles? Covered up by mud. Killed, destroyed. And guess what they was doing? They was talking to the people that they lifted up, their idols. And they said, please come and save us. And their idol said, fuck y'all. I ain't coming. And I ain't letting nobody else come. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to send some people to pillage the land real quick while y'all stuck in y'all locations. And then all of a sudden, guess what they start doing? Oh, they lied to us. They tricked it. No, they didn't. You lied to yourself. You was being a nasty and you was okay with the destruction of the world as long as you and your kind were okay. Mind you, God has all different kinds. Once God put it here, that meant that it was existing and able to be here. Who do you think you are that you get to come and corrupt and kill and deny God's promises are eternal? His word cannot fail. The awakening of bloodlines is real, and it is for everyone willing to see it, acknowledge it, and step into the authority that is already theirs. Like, ain't nobody asking you and telling you to do nothing. You got to talk to God about it. Like, you don't have to listen to nothing that I got to say. Go talk to God about it. That's all you got to do. And mind you, that's one of the things that a lot of people ain't willing to do. Why y'all not willing to go talk to God? Because all you got to do is, start talking. The power of life and death is in the tongue. All you got to do is start talking. So the blessing was not temporary. It was generational, tied to the covenant. Where do you fall in line in the covenant? For centuries, attempts were made to obscure the lineage of God's people, to rewrite the story of his chosen, yet God's covenant cannot be erased. The truth of your bloodline, the destiny written in your DNA, remains alive. The prophets foresaw a time like this. Joel declared it. And it shall come to pass afterwards that I will pour out my spirit upon all flesh, and your sons and your daughters shall prophesy. Your old men shall dream dreams or your young men shall see visions. Joel 2:28 through 29. This awakening, the stirring of bloodlines, the rediscovery of heritage is the fulfillment of that prophecy. People are beginning to see clearly the truth of who they are, uncovering history that was hidden and reclaiming the authority that was theirs by covenant. The wealth transfer spoken of is not only of silver and gold, but of wisdom, insight, and spiritual inheritance. Remember, the word is eternal. The promises were already made. God don't lie. Attempts to erase the history of God's people cannot prevent destiny from unfolding. Mind you, that's already prophesied about too. God said y'all was going to be hard-headed. Y'all was going to be hard-headed, but even when it got taken, that you were going to be slaves in the hands of certain people because of the fact that you were out of covenant. But eventually you would figure it out and be tired of being enslaved. And life would go on the way that it should, without you being enslaved. And then you going into lands created. So just so y'all know, you can believe it or not. You don't have to listen to nothing that I say. It's there. You just have to go find it. Mind you, y'all keep trusting people that keep stealing and taking from y'all. That's one of the things. A lot of y'all are trusting testimony from people who, wrote and rewrote and, not really wanting to go look up things or listen to God all for yourself. Because you can hear if you want to hear. You can see if you want to see. I see the fulfillment of prophecy in my life. I'm aligned with God's plan for my bloodline. The enemy cannot hinder the covenant promises over my life. My path is secure and prosperous. I rise in covenant authority. I'm a vessel of blessing, leadership, and restoration. God's spirit awakens my understanding, my vision, and my lineage is intended to glorify. My heritage carries divine purpose, and I walk into blessings of my ancestors. Wealth, spiritual, material, and generational is being restored to me according to God's word. The knowledge of my true origin awakens within me, and I honor the bloodline I inherit. I am aligned with God's promises. I receive wisdom, authority, and favor in every area of my life. Y'all DNA holds codes. Y'all DNA holds roadmaps. Y'all DNA holds places of, times past and everything else. Why do you think that it has been where the spiritual realm has been trying to come against you also, even the people in the physical realm, along with, I should say, because whatever is also happening here is happening in the spiritual realm. Angels and entities have already been assigned to you to help you, to let you see where, certain things will try to disrupt or move you out the way. Meanwhile, God said it in the beginning when creation started. You will be blessed for forever as long as you're in covenant. So we over here, and it begins. Wealth transfer activated. The awakening of bloodlines. They try to erase it. They try to put people in your spot. They try to tell you that you were less than. I see the truth of history and prophecy unfolding, and I rise in my God-given authority. No one can erase my purpose, my heritage, or my blessing set aside for me. I embrace my awakening. I am part of the divine wealth transfer that restores generations. And with that, I would like to say that's the message. Hopefully it helps. Thank you guys for being here. Seek and ye shall find. Always God. Always go with God. And not the God that they gave you. The God that existed from the beginning. The one that angels worshipped and the one that created creation. So I get how, you want to listen to what is it called? The conditioning. But you have to have a relationship with God and know God for yourself, because once you realize that there is stuff that people have been trying to take from you from get-go, and God said that it's yours and it will be yours for forever, like those were the words. It will be yours for forever. And nobody can take that. And just remember that there's a lot of stuff that's even happening right here on this planet that let God deal with it. And when God start talking and for us to do whatever it is that we need to do, just know that, sometimes we may feel away, but if you ask for the truth and you can handle the truth, know that the truth is going to be the truth and the truth is going to be revealed. So there's that. Thank you guys for being here. Like, comment, share, subscribe, please, and thank you, because that's the biggest way y'all can help my channel. But if you wish to donate towards my channel, all the links are in the bio. And go with God. See you next time. Thank you, Abby, always. Mike, thank you too. Charles, thank you as well. Victoria or Wandora, hi, welcome. Thank you for being here. Let's see. We got Pamela, welcome. Thank you for being here. Lava, thank you always. Sandra, thank you for being here. Y'all have the day you deserve.